Ever heard of students being punished with dry bread for being late? In a quirky Australian school, this bizarre rule actually worked. But when an African school tried it, something hilarious happened. The teachers started coming late too. Faced with tears of joy, watch how strict the punishment turned into a comedy of errors and brought everyone closer together. This story is a must-see for a good laugh and a heartwarming twist. Red Sparkles.
In a quiet corner of Australia, nestled between rolling hills and wide open fields, lay a small school named Greenwood Academy. The students of Greenwood were a lively bunch, often arriving just in time to avoid the morning bell. The principal, Mrs. Thompson, had tried numerous strategies to curb their tardiness, but nothing seemed to work. One day, she devised a peculiar plan inspired by an old story she had read in her childhood. She announced that any student arriving late would be punished by having to eat a slice of dry bread for breakfast instead of the usual sumptuous meal provided by the school. The first day of the new rule was met with much grumbling. Students, usually accustomed to the warm, buttered toast and fresh fruit, were now forced to chew on coarse, dry bread if they arrived even a minute late. Surprisingly, the strategy worked. Within a week, the halls of Greenwood Academy buzzed with the sound of early arrivals, eager to avoid the dreaded punishment. News of this peculiar but effective strategy spread far and wide, eventually reaching the ears of educators in Africa. Intrigued by its success, a school in Nigeria, Ikoyi High, decided to implement the same rule. The headmaster, Mr. Adeyemi, gathered his staff and explained the new policy. Any student who arrives late will be given a slice of dry bread for breakfast, he declared. The next morning, the teachers at Ikoyi High were amused as they watched the students rush through the gates, anxious to avoid the dry bread punishment. However, something unexpected happened. As the days passed, it wasn't just the students who began to dread the dry bread. The teachers, too, found themselves arriving later and later, distracted by their busy mornings and long commutes. Mr. Adeyemi, puzzled by this turn of events, decided to investigate. He discovered that the teachers, amused by the students' initial reaction, had grown curious and began experimenting with the rule themselves. Some deliberately arrived late to see if they would face the same punishment. Others, simply tired from their long journeys, couldn't resist the allure of arriving just a few minutes late. When questioned, the teachers laughed and admitted they had taken the rule lightly at first. "But now," said Mrs. Okafor, one of the senior teachers, "we've grown to." Realizing the unintended but positive impact, Mr. Adeyemi embraced the situation. He saw that the shared experience had created a unique bond between students and teachers, fostering a sense of unity and mutual respect. He decided to keep the dry bread rule, but with a twist. Once a week, a communal breakfast would be held where everyone, regardless of punctuality, would share the simple meal together. In the end, what started as a strict punishment turned into a lesson in equality and empathy. The story of Greenwood Academy's dry bread punishment had not only curbed tardiness but had also bridged gaps and brought people closer, both in Australia and far away in Africa. Seeing the unintended consequences of his plan, Headmaster Adeyemi had to think fast. He called a staff meeting and declared, "From now on, anyone who arrives late will have to lead the school in a dance session during assembly." The next day, both students and teachers arrived on time, eager to avoid the spotlight. The schoolyard was filled with laughter and rhythm as they danced together, celebrating their newfound punctuality. And so, the story of dry bread and tardiness came to a happy end, and where laughter and dancing became the new order of the day.